The Crazy Owl. Have you ever heard a story of the crazy old owl? Well, this story was shared by a friend of mine I grew up with in North Louisiana. So sit back and listen to what he shared with me, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. His story went like this. I grew up in a very small town in North Louisiana where everyone knew everyone. Just like any other small town, it always had its ups and downs, but it was so much fun. I remember this one older gentleman who grew watermelons, cantaloupes, and peas, and he loved to go fishing and camping on the creek by his fields. During the summer, our church boys youth group would often go camping with him, and we loved to hear his stories. Some of them really were out there, but others seemed to be true somehow or another. One story that I remember was the story about the crazy owl. He said there was a family of owls that lived in the area, but one of them was crazy and we couldn't pay attention to him. For a while we didn't understand what he was talking about. He said to listen closely through the night, and the owls would talk to him, telling him when he had caught a fish on his set hooks. Yeah, I know, this sounds crazy, but somehow or another it always seemed to happen. As we would sit around the campfire talking, we would randomly hear an owl calling out. We would all quickly look over at him to see his reaction. Most of the time, he would just casually say, "Well, we got another fish on the line." But sometimes he would say, "Oh, don't worry about that one. That's that crazy old owl. You can't pay any attention to him." And we would all keep talking, but all of us boys would keep track of how many times he said we'd caught another fish. As the fire would start to die out, we would all head towards our tent to go to bed for the night. But we all kept track of how many fish we were supposed to have on the lines the next morning. The next morning, we were all anxiously ready to see how many fish we had caught, to see if there was any truth to this about the owls. As we paddled out into the water to check the lines, we remembered how many fish we were supposed to have, but none of us thought we would have that many. But somehow, it always came true. If the owls called out 6 times during the night, we would have 6 fish on the line. If they called out 10 times, we would have 10 fish on the line. Now, how do you explain that? None of us could ever explain how it was happening, but it always did. Even though it's been over 40 years, I still think about this story each time I hear an old owl call out. I wonder if that family of owls are still around, or if another family is there now, and if they too have a crazy owl in their family. After all, don't all families have at least one crazy one in the bunch? If you have a story you remember and would like to share it with us, let us know. We would love to hear it. And until next time, keep smiling, stay safe, and remember, have fun, let's travel.
This video is brought to you in part by the official RV Camping Journal, the most complete way to record and preserve your family travel adventures. Get your copies today by clicking the link in the description. Thank you for sharing a moment of your time with us. Happy camping!